BA webinar, How do I use CFD time histories to perform vibroacoustic analysis? Our presenter today is Alexandre from ESI France. If you have any questions, please raise your hand or chat in the chat box, which you can find on your switchboard. At the end of the webinar, we will do a short Q&A session. Thanks.
Hello everyone, so my name is Alexandre. I will present you how to use data from CFD results to identify some loads that will be used in vibroacoustic analysis. So how this will be hands-on way of presenting this, because there will be a demonstration after a little bit of introduction, and I will show as well the workflow in the different workflow possible in the software. Then don't hesitate to note some question to ask in the end of the meeting. So to start, I will make an overview of VA1 software methods. That will be the software that perform the vibroacoustic analysis. And in this presentation, the load will be created using the CFD data. There are different possible methods in VA1 to perform the analysis, the vibroacoustic analysis, depending on the frequency range and the system that we are considering. Typically, for larger wavelength or low frequency applications, finite element-based methods are used for structure acoustics, vibroacoustics couplings, and also unbounded fluids using boundary elements methods. In high frequency, the wavelengths are smaller and tends to be localized in different regions of the system, so that can be grouped into together these wavelengths or local modes. We can describe them as local modes, and so the system is subdivided in called subsystems. These subsystems tend to exchange vibroacoustic energy at their connections. So this is the base of the SEA method, using statistical methods to count this number of modes, and also analytical methods, basically to describe the energy exchange between the different subsystems, and between both to address the mid-frequency problems where some parts of the system are quite stiff and would require a finite element-based modeling, and at the same time some parts which are more soft and contain a lot of modes that should require SEA type of modeling. So these both methods can be coupled in the same method using a specific formulation in the same model, and so that's opened the way to new frequency domain of analysis with using the hybrid methods. So I will go quick on the next step with the IO vibroacoustic related functionalities in VA1. For a little bit less than 10 years now, there are IO vibroacoustic functionalities in VA1, meaning that it's a set of functionalities that allow to define a load that coming from aerodynamic phenomenon. So there are this in order to compute in fine the contribution from the aerodynamic noise in the cabin sound pressure level, for example, for a car. So this set of functions have been introduced in VA1 2010.5 and have been enhanced with new graphic post-processing, different enhancements through the years. In 2016, the general surface pressure load, which is SEA type of load, which rely on the pressure field description with a wave number with its wave number contents, have been introduced in VA1. And lately, some enhancement on the wave number processing have been introduced in 2018, which is coming next October. In the meanwhile, some set of functionalities targeting the muffler applications mainly have been introduced. It's the ability to take into account the mean flow in the acoustic finite element model with an automated coupling with OpenFOAM, meaning that the user will set the boundary condition of a CFD computation, like the input, the flow at input, the output, and some thermal boundary condition. And VA1 will create automatically the CFD model, compute it, and gather the results to take into account the mean flow in the sound field propagation inside the finite element model. So for that has been enhanced with the taking into account of perforations that we encounter a lot in this type of application for the mufflers, and also pore elastic materials inside of it. So it's a complete set of functions to target the muffler acoustics application. Back to the definition of aeroacoustic loads. This can be in VA1 used in any of the methods, and also in mid-frequency hybrid methods, coupling FE and SEA. A possibility to identify the aeroacoustic load on a finite element surface. Here you can see basic model of a car cabin with a windshield side window here, where the pressure sound field from the aerodynamic load is plotted, and with this definition of the source here represented by this little box FSP, meaning fluctuating surface pressure. The same can be done with the same FE represented by FE side window, but the cabin is represented here by SEA. Here it would be by boundary element, either boundary element or finite element. And on the right, all the representation being using SEA. So there are pros and cons for each of these formulation. Basically, with low frequency deterministic method, FE-based method, the accuracy is better, but you have to deal with computational time, and also pre-processing can be longer. And also you take only one realization of an ensemble, so statistically it's only one shot, and it doesn't take into account some variations. So it's great for low frequency, but as long as you go upper in frequency, you have to take into account the different dispersions, the uncertainties. So using SEA is very interesting for that at high frequency. Also, you gain using SEA, so maybe some accuracy is lost, meaning frequency and spatialization discretization are different, so you are more on averages, but it's still accurate. But also it's computationally efficient, and preprocessing is more simple in general. And this is at medium frequency, so you can take the best of both approach depending of your frequency range of interest. So the physical phenomenon which tends to be represented here is represented by this small drawing. So there is a stream here and an obstacle, and after this obstacle create turbulences of the stream, of the flow, and there is also like it's called a turbulent boundary layer, where there are turbulences, and so this turbulence create sound inside this layer, but also they hit the panel, which creates vibrational response and then radiation inside the air cavity. So in this approach, there are these two, the approach presented here, the two phenomena, so the flow turbulences and then the vibroacoustic transmission are treated separately. So there is no feedback loop supposed between the aerodynamic field and the vibroacoustic system. So in the one side, the flow field is computed, and we gather the results at the boundaries, so at the panel, to interface with the VA system. And so those are called as time histories, because they are computed and exported in the time domain. Those time domain data are used as the input to create the aerodynamic load in the VA system, the VA model. So the wind noise contribution can be computed inside the cabin. So this problem is adapted here, is presented, is targeting here the side window of a car, which would be excited when the car is moving by the turbulences created by the obstacle, which would be the side mirror here. So there is some turbulences that can be shown here from the results of the CFD computation, and we can see contour plot here on this plane of the pressure fluctuation, and also the pressure fluctuation on the side window that is supposed to be rigid here. So this is the load that is of interest to compute the wind noise contribution inside the car. So there are two phenomena to take into account in this load. There are so as said, the convective component, which is the ways the turbulences hit the window, and the acoustic pressure here, or acoustic component, which are the sound generated by these turbulences in the air, and this sound is the sound pressure is impacting yes the side window. So these two components have to be taken into account in the load description. That will be one of the points that are put ahead in the analysis in the software. So this pressure fluctuating can be taken into account for the side glass. Some noise can also is generated by the presence of the mirror, also for the A pillar. The workflow when you want to address this type of problems, you have a set of different approaches, different numerical simulation workflow, depending on the method and the frequency domain. You will be first interested by validating your vibroacoustic model, and then validate the IO vibroacoustic model. So to check that the load has been well represented by the simulation. But first, your vibroacoustic model should be validated for simple type of loads, for example. So in the workflow, there are different possible approach to take into account to create this aerodynamic load. So for the moment, at the start, you have the flow data input. So can be experimental from CFD, which could be incompressible. So that would contain only the convective part, the turbulence, the fluctuating pressure from the turbulence itself, but not the acoustic part or the acoustic pressure that would be generated by the turbulences. Whereas with the CFD compressible analysis, you have both actually the convective part, so the hydrodynamic load onto the surface, and the acoustic part, so the acoustic waves from this created in the air by the turbulences. So there are different ways to post-process this into the vibroacoustic model. So you can just extract the convective component, perform wave number frequency analysis. We'll see that more in detail after. Use aeroacoustic analogies to create BEM sources for boundary element model, and also to project the pressure fluctuation on the FE structure, so to project on this model modes, on the mode shapes, so to create a set of modal forces. In the vibroacoustic model, that can end in different type of sources, with first the TBL source, which is a turbulent boundary layer using the Korkos model type of source. General surface pressure was where I was talking earlier. Diffuse acoustic field, which is a purely acoustic load. Also for the propagative wave field, which takes account a specific incidence onto the panel, and the modal forces, which correspond directly to the projection of the fluctuating surface pressure onto the modes of the structure, which is using a finite element based approach. So usually TBL, so Korkos will be used in conjunction with diffuse acoustic field or propagative wave field. The Korkos corresponding to the convective component, so the aerodynamic load, and the diffuse acoustic field or propagative wave field take into account representing the acoustic component of the load. Those can be applied to SEA type of panel or to FEM, finite element panel. And the interior can be SEA, FEM, or boundary element. So for this, I will review the different type of processing. So this first one is just to fit the spectrum and the data needed for defining the Korkos type of load. So the Korkos coefficient will be fitted using this processing to create this Korkos load into the model. So using the CFD data and entry, the pressure, average pressure, the spatial correlation decay coefficient, and the convection wave number will be computed automatically. Alternatively, you can use the wave number transform to have an idea of the acoustic and convective components. These are clearly can be clearly separated using the wave number analysis. You can see here 1D wave number transform. It's a Fourier transformation in the spatial dimension here along the flow, and here cross flow. Along the flow, you can see that there is part of the energy which is here not symmetric. It's just typical of, and it's pretty low frequency. It's typically energy that comes from the convection phenomenon of the aerodynamic load. And the other part, which is like here a cone, because it's growing against frequency, it's typically the acoustic part, acoustic component. So brought by the acoustic wave number here. In the cross flow, you only get the acoustic part, typically. Well, it's more visible when you use a 2D wave number transform. So here cross flow, and here on the abscissa, on the ordinate along flow. So you can see in the center the wave number values corresponding to the acoustic component, and here detached the convective component. Those energies can be processed to compute the spectrum corresponding to the turbulent. So the turbulence here is the convective component and the acoustic part of the noise, the source. And with boundary elements, so we can use the fluctuating surface pressure to create aerodynamic sources. As surface sources, we keep the surface term of this equation. This equation being the aeroacoustic analogy proposed by Schramm and Vautringant here some years ago. So for that, we just have to get the surface, still the fluctuating surface terms here, and the acoustic analogy allows to create sources like you see here for this duct. There is a flow that coming from the up to the downward here, and with this obstacle, some turbulence are created, and getting the CFD results on the surface, it's possible to create sources that are propagated in the boundary element model. So you can see, for example, the directivity, the power of this source, acoustic source, in the room which is at the end of the duct. And last one, if you take the pressure, the pressure that comes from the fluctuating surface pressure, you can project it to the modes, and in two ways. Deterministic way, you take all the signal and project it to on the modes. Its process is transformed in a frequency domain and projected on the model shapes, and you can keep it in a random way using different segments of the same signal, and getting an interspectral matrix in the end that is the load on the model. So there are different workflows that are possible depending on your frequency domain, on the methods you target then, and also from your input data. So I don't get into detail for this one. The more classical one in low frequency is this approach using the modal forces, an FEM window that will be radiating in any of these type of cabin modeling ways, which should be SEA, FEM, or BM, but this is a pretty standard way to go with the vibroacoustic sources, IO vibroacoustic sources, and also you can use experimental data with the wave number frequency analysis, for example, and create a general surface pressure, which is based on the wave number content of the source to input the power to the SEA subsystems. And this is the one that we'll see today with the demonstration that I will start shortly. So we will get the CFD compressible data, so which contains the hydrodynamics and acoustic components of the flow onto this surface of the windshield. And then we'll make a wave number frequency analysis where we can distinguish the different components, fluctuant components and acoustic components. And then we'll generate a general surface pressure. We also see Corcos and diffuse acoustic field load for as an alternative that will be applied in the SEA on the SEA panel, which connected on the SEA cavity. So I will switch. Sorry, I will switch to VA1 here. So you can see here the graphical interface of VA1. I will create a new model. In which I will import it looks like a vehicle from we could say from far, but it's taking the main aspect of it, which would be here you can see a SEA cavity. I can double click on this. This is a cavity which has a certain volume and which represent the internal cabin of a car. And there is in red the junction. I will show first, I will mask the junction and show you the windshield, the side glass for which is represented here by a plate which has side glass properties with specific damping, for example, which is here uniform construction, so typically homogeneous material with a specific thickness. Can check the thickness here, which would be 3mm glass. The material is glass. So we'll apply the load on this side window and look at the power input into the structure and also into the cabin cavity, the internal pressure level due to the aeroacoustic load. Here is the junction in red. So this junction will connect and manage the radiation loss factor between the structure and the cavity here. I just mask this one. It's quite a prepared model, but I will create the wave number frequency analysis using two nodes here because these two nodes will represent the corner of a rectangle that will be used to perform the wave number analysis of the input load here. By the way, the frequency domain of this model goes from 200 to 6.3 kilohertz. So it's basically a mid to high frequency model. I will select this corner in this order, for the one from the upstream to the one to the downstream, and use the aerovibroacoustics set of functions specific when wave number analysis. You can see other type of function when you import pressure time data or pressure already in the frequency domain. You can use the fit TBL parameter here. You can also export bump surface pressure for FSP, so it's more like a side functionalities here. But we will compute the wave number frequency spectrum from pressure time data here, and I will use these results in the UNV format. There are other formats like you can use CGNS and from Nsight, from EXA type of EXA software, from Fluent, OpenFOAM, StarCCM, and in general VKI type of format. So here is the UNV, and we get a 50 millisecond sample of time history. So for that, there are post-processing options. So first, the flow data will be set here. So it's in the X direction. And already with my selection, but it can be changed after that, you can see the location of the lower left upstream corner and the top right downstream corner. So that's being filled automatically. And then there are time signal processing options and space signal processing options. So here the default values are okay. So which is important is to apply a filtering window here using Hanning, and so there will be overlap number of segments can be 8, and in the space signal processing option, if you want to get a different resolution after of your wave number representation, you can use 0 padding here. And this space signal processing option suppose regular spacing. So you can choose here the spacing between the analysis point in X and Y direction. So first we'll make a preview. So this preview will help to see the meshing of the CFD data and the meshing of the space processing. So it creates a set of faces. I will mask the model, and there you can see many colors because there are 3 faces that are overlapping. This first one is intending to check the surface of the wave number frequency spectrum analysis. This one will be the analysis grid, which is defined by that options. So by default, it takes the average distance between nodes in the CFD data, and there you can see the CFD data grid. So it can be only points, only node coordinates in in the CFD data, and V1, this processing tool will triangulate to create between the points to create the elements. So this check is now okay. I will get back to the model here and import the data. So by this, there will be two things computed. There will be the wave number frequency spectrum, which is here resumed by WFS. And this wave number frequency spectrum is normalized. So there is also a scale factor, which is homogeneous to Pascal. So it's a pressure spectrum that is created automatically. So it takes about a minute for this file. It's almost finished. So after that, I will go to the browser. You can see here there are two tabs. The first one here is a 3D tab where you can manipulate all the objects of the model, the SEA subsystem, the FE ports, junction, load, constraints, sensors, and also deal with the interface mesh here. That here an example of using was for this check, but it can be used for all which is vibroacoustics couplings using FE. And so I will go to the browser tab to check the database. And this database is here represented by this tree view on the left. There are many things like geometry, materials, physical properties, noise control treatments, and so on. I'm interested in the loads and spectra. So the loads here are of different type. You can see a lot of loads. Here we are interested in general surface pressure, and we'll take a look also on turbulent boundary layer, diffuse acoustic field. All these are SEA type of loads, but you can also apply turbulent boundary layers and diffuse acoustic field to FE type of model or subsystems. Wave number frequencies. So here is the spectra section. I will just fold a little bit some of these information. And I'm interested here in the wave number frequency spectrum. You can see here on the right, in the tabular form, the wave number frequency spectrum that have been created by importation and post-processing of this file, and also a pressure spectrum that has been created also, but is corresponding to the scaling factor to be applied to wave number frequency spectrum. So this one here. So I will take a look first on this pressure spectrum. So this scale factor. Here you can see it in a dB form. And just go back here to the wave number frequency, which is the most interesting results. So here you see this panel corresponding to the wave number frequency spectrum. It's 0 Hz. I will put it at the first frequency of the post-processing. And you can see so it's for recall, X is along flow and Y is cross flow. And you can see if I go upper in frequency, okay. You can see here the region of energy is asymmetric, which is consistent with the fact that the convective component is dominating at this frequency. And if I go very higher in frequency, we can see around here a circle which corresponding to the acoustic component. That can be seen more easily when looking at, for example, a long flow. The wave number along flow against frequency here directly. You can see quickly this conic area correspond to the acoustic component, and this one on the right correspond to the convective component. So you can see clearly now a typical turbulent boundary layer type of excitation. So the one we can find also in a wind noise situation. It's very typical. It's very typical results. So you can analyze this a bit more using acoustic data. So here, if you show this acoustic data, you can see the theoretical evolution of the wave number along frequency. So you can see it's not strictly, the energy is not strictly into this this area. It's because of it's due to some post-processing effect due to discontinuities and lack of resolution. Also here, due to the stream flow, to the flow velocity, there is a little bit of Doppler effect that makes more energy on the negative wave number here. So what this tab can do also is to compute the autospectra for the acoustic and convective wave number. So for that, we choose an area where we want to integrate the energy over the frequency spectrum for the acoustic part, and the rest will be assumed to be the convective component. So I will put a suffix here and adjust this this area to take into account all the energy of the acoustic component that can be displayed on this figure. So I will be multiplying, giving a factor to the radius of the acoustic circle. So here is good. I compute the autospectra from that, and you can see here it's creating a spectrum pressure hydrodynamic and pressure acoustic spectrums. You can say, okay, these spectrum are created here. You can check here and here the typical energy corresponding to these two components converted into a pressure spectra. So now I will create the loads. So create first, here you can see the library of type of loads. I will be interested in the create general surface pressure. So this one is defined by the wave number frequency spectrum and the scaling factor. You can also decide for the coverage and also for the different axes. Okay, and then I create turbulent boundary layer. So for this one, I will keep a lot the default parameters, but you can also use, as we said, the tools for fitting the TBL to get the correlation coefficient, the wave number decay coefficient, convection wave number, and the spatial correlation decay coefficient. Here we take the constant, we just remove the boundary layer correction. And here it's 0.58. That's the value we can see earlier. Okay, it's here. I need to take here the hydrodynamic pressure spectrum, of course. Okay, And then I use the diffuse sound field to take into account the acoustic component of the load. So here I use pressure acoustic, just checking you use the same acoustic wave speed. Okay. And so there you can see three loads. In fact, there is one load which is general surface pressure, which is taking into account both components, hydrodynamic and acoustic components, because it's an entire wave number frequency spectrum, and another load which is composed by two loads in parallel, which is the turbulent boundary layer and the Corcos formulation that is using the hydrodynamic pressure that we extracted earlier, and the diffuse acoustic field. So here's also an ideal load. The plane waves are supposed to be from any incidence. It's a supposition, but it's appropriate in this case. We use the acoustic component of the pressure spectrum. So if I take a look at these three sources and looking at the engineering units, so it creates a graph. Engineering units is meaning the direct results corresponding to the type of objects which are selected in the main window, 3D window. So here you can see in red the general surface pressure spectrum, so the spectrum corresponding to the energy of the signal across frequency. And when we use the analysis to separate the convective component to the acoustic component, you can see that in low frequency, the turbulent boundary layer is dominating, and in terms of input level of pressure, input pressure level, and the acoustic pressure is dominating in the higher frequency. So I will start by using only the general. I have also the general surface pressure. I have also an option to check is to include the mass flow transmission. So the part which is non-resonant in the transmission through a plate from an acoustic load. So which we use for turbulent boundary layer, propagative wave field, and general surface pressure. Okay, so that will help after to diagnose the pressure field inside the cavity. I will run the computation that is done, which is a quite simple model here, so the computation is quick. And I will take a look at the engineering unit inside the cabin. So I will freeze that results and take also a look at the power inputs. So you can see in the power inputs that you have the total pressure power into the cavity. Here you have a part here which is the mass flow, and also the part which is the pure radiation of the plate inside the cavity. So you can see in higher frequency, the radiation of the plate is more important it's more a contributor of the pressure level inside the cabin, which is lower frequency. You have more balanced contribution from both. So which is interesting, that is to take a look at the couple turbulent boundary layer and diffuse acoustic field. You can see there, I will disconnect, deactivate the general surface pressure load and reactivate turbulent boundary layer and diffuse acoustic field, and run again computation. So you can see in the results that you have an equivalence of both. So it's not the same because you have, for many reasons, mainly because TBL and diffuse acoustic field are ideal loads, and whereas general pressure takes the actual wave number frequency content of the CFD data. So there is a filter using TBL and diffuse sound field, but in the power input to cavity, you can go a further step into the diagnosis, meaning that you have 3 contributors now already: the plate, but also the Maslow is distinguished between the turbulent boundary layer and the diffuse acoustic field contributions. So you can see here, for example, the diffuse acoustic field non-resonant path is important at mid-frequency. And also as very low frequency, the turbulent part of the Maslow is has a certain importance here between 1 kHz, but is not relevant above. But you can also see that maybe it's more important. Turbulent boundary layer can be more important in its way to hit the window. So you can also take a look at the power input to the plate. Okay, so you can see for the plate, vibration is dominated by the turbulent boundary layer, so the convective part in low frequency. This is consistent with what we saw in the wave number frequency spectrum. If you remember, you can see the convective part here is very dominating at low frequency, and on higher frequency, maybe above 1.5 kilohertz, the acoustic part is really dominating in the energy of the pressure field. So this is what you can check here with this result. So this is a way to show the workflow of this functionality. After that, you can for sure consider to. I will share another window, and you can consider to use it on a typical real more complex model for a car, for example, for this one, and use other sources that you know to get an idea. For example, here the tire to road noise, the engine noise, for example, are represented here, and to see which contribution, which is wind noise or tire road noise, which are the source that contributes most in the inside cabin for driver ears, for passenger ears, etc. Define a strategy for the sound package, for the trim inside the car, with respect to these excitations. So you can know which treatment, which trims are most beneficial for your, depending of the source you have and the frequency range, etc. Okay, I think I've gone through all of main of it. We'll get back to the PowerPoint, and if you have any question, please don't hesitate to ask.